is a copyright design created by me that began some roughly 10 years ago. Front fork is custom fiberglass, sculpted fiberglass over foam. The body shell is sculpted fiberglass over polyurethane foam also. Chop strand mat, 13-ounce mat, 5.87-ounce fiberglass cloth epoxy resin over these parts. The front fender, the body shell. It's very windy out here, so I'm watching it very closely that it doesn't tip over. Also, the reason I have the shopping cart placed under the front wheel to try to keep it steady. The pegs were added. They were ABS 3D printed for the kickstand. ABS 3D printed with TPU. A TPU cover, also 3D printed. The tank, which is a simulation of a gas tank, contains the ignition for the unit. I will show you that in a moment. The custom trunk extension is also fiberglass over polyurethane foam, sculpted polyurethane foam. It's very cold out here in Brisk, so I'm trying to hurry up. You can see things that have yet to be added, why there are so many extra wires. That's because there's going to be audio, you can see the player, and there's going to be lights, special lights, to add effects, and you can see the remote for the lights. This is the ignition for the electrical power. I wouldn't be showing this right now because it's not complete. I have yet to add the fairing, which is going to be a very special part of it. But unfortunately, I've had someone who has violated my space, and they have taken images of my vehicle. So I have no idea what their scheme or their plan might be. But so now I am posting my design, which has been in the works for, like I said, roughly 10 years. I also have an image of the polyurethane before I ever even covered it that was sculpted of the battery shell. I have an image of that before it was ever produced. So yes, it's been a you can tell by the intricate detail in the work. It's been very, very long, hard work, and many, I would say on a near professional level. No, it's not perfect. I can tell you that right now. It's not a perfect design. It's not perfectly, everything is not perfectly symmetrical perfectly, but for the design and the idea and the initiation, it is something extra special, which I believe is, I'm considering for a GoFundMe project to have others, that might be interested. This is 3D printed, the whole unit. This ignition was meant to mount on top of the handlebars, but I did not want that because that wasn't going with the symmetry of the design I had in mind. So I made this simulation tank, and as it turns out, good place to put the audio, a good place to put a remote also. And so that's 3D printed. This cover is also 3D printed ABS smooth with acetone. The trunk mount is also ABS. This trunk mount is also ABS, smooth with acetone. The problem is that I ran out of black, so I had to use red, which of course goes with the vehicle anyway, but the red ABS does not smooth nearly as easily as the Overture ABS, so that was the difficulty there. So that, you can look at it and, you might not be able to tell from the video, but it's not as smooth as the, you see the lighting. Oh, I guess I should turn on the lighting. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it since it's light out here. Let me turn on these lights. So you can see the lighting. This is a bi-directional light that originally I was going to use this light for the turn signals, but unfortunately because of its being a bi-directional LED light, it would not function properly and cause failure in the system. So ultimately I decided to go ahead and make them as they were intended, marker lights only for side illumination. And these lights are going to be the turn signal lights, and I will demonstrate that for you right here. So you can see the lighting from the back and the turn signal indication. I'll turn off the lights now. And there's the horn. The horn is located back here. I've installed it back here. All the wiring is contained in here, and believe me, it's a literal maze of wires. It was very hard to contain them and keep them out of the way. This within here is the utility battery and the drive battery. 48 volt drive battery, 12 volt 40 amp utility battery located in here. And this is, like I said, this is fiberglass. Heavy matte cloth for the door, and the hinge units is very heavy matte cloth, 13 ounce for reinforcement and durability. And this is the controller, and unfortunately, doing the wiring for the controller was very uneasy because of where they located the kickstand, and I did not want the controller inside this unit. I wanted it at the bottom so the weight would be more centered and more gyroscopic. So I wanted the controller to be at the bottom. The more weight you have towards the bottom, the more gyroscopic and balanced the effect is. But it's getting extra windy, so I'm going to end this video now. This is January 14th, 2022, copyright design. As you can see, let me show you its copyright label specifically. So there you go, 2022. The design began a long time ago, but here we are. And like I said, I have yet to add the fairing, which is going to add very special effects with lighting, etc. So thank you for viewing.